There's a new one, and I think maybe it's egotistical to say, I think I'm probably the most qualified person, if not one of the most qualified people on the planet to speak about this. So I'm going to read it to you. It's becoming increasingly obvious to me that no content creators are talking negatively about any aspects of Overwatch because they're essentially on a legal, undisclosed payroll from Blizzard, using the exclusive Twitch drop system as a loophole. That's a very big accusation to be making. Blizzard's exclusive OWCS streaming drops were given to 91 streamers. By the way, I was one of them. I just want to point out, I was one of them. I didn't ask for them, and I didn't even stream OWCS, but I was one of them. I do stream it sometimes, but it just appeared in my inbox. And I actually purposely avoided Overwatch during that because I didn't want anyone to come to me and go, why are you streaming Overwatch without watching OWCS drops? I didn't want anything to happen to me, so I stayed away for a couple days. Regardless, though, let's keep it going. Co-streams will be monitored by the OWCS to ensure all guidelines are upheld, including maintaining a positive environment. Then right after that, it says, we reserve the rights to remove co-streamers from the program at any time. Essentially saying they maintain a positive environment for streaming our game or we will remove you from the program. So this is actually very interesting. It's actually a very interesting accusation because in my opinion, there's like I would say 5% truth, 95% delusion. The 5% truth is around they can remove it at any time. And you have to have a positive environment, quote unquote. What that means, though, at least in my opinion, is you don't have to be positive about the game. It just means you can't be like making fun of the players, making fun of the casters, like, you know, saying like racist shit and homophobic shit and slurring at them. Like, you can say they suck. You can say they're not good. You can say, holy shit, this meta is dog shit. Holy shit, why is the cat flying around? How do I know this? I've done all those things and nothing happened to me. I'm seriously someone who has said all of these things in the past and nothing has happened to me, ever. Actually, if anything, many times people from Blizzard will see that and go, that's a good note. The community feels that way about this XYZ thing, right? So that is where the truth ends. The rest of it, though, I would say is... no, I wouldn't say it's a legal loophole, although I will say that OWCS is a little weird with their drop system. There is 110% a nepotism thing going on there because they have like a very small group of people that they always kind of like cycle through, and you're not supposed to do 24/7 AFK drop streaming. Lots of streamers in the Overwatch category do that, and some of them are actually hosted by the OWCS channel. And then they proceed to do it and nothing happens because that's against Twitch's TOS and you're not supposed to do that. Regardless, though, it's like almost sponsored at that point from them. But that's not what this is talking about. This is just talking about people using drops as a unpaid legal loophole. So drops as a whole are available to everyone on Twitch. When you do OWCS, you have to be signed up for it and given it exclusively, and I actually agree that it should be everyone. You should be allowed to sign up. Anyone should be allowed to sign up and get it as long as they're actually streaming OWCS. I just don't think they have the manpower to keep an eye on it. Straight up. I just don't think they have the manpower to keep an eye on it. But it is a very interesting accusation because it's like true, but not true at all. Like it has like 5% truth and 95% untruth. And the truth is mostly around like, yeah, they're going to monitor you and they don't want you doing fucked up shit for sure. And they can remove it to you any time, absolutely. But I also don't think that like they're not going after anyone for saying negative things about the game. Like I think I can probably say with the utmost confidence, you can say all the shit about this game that you want. You can say it's dog shit for XYZ if you actually mean it and you actually can back it up for why you think it's that. Most of the time, they're willing to be like, you know what? Hey, either we agree with you or disagree with you. We won't silence you though. And I can say that pretty confidently. Anyways, let's moving on. Essentially, they're saying maintain a positive environment for streaming our game or we will remove you from the program. That's not really true at all. That's not really true. The reason why you don't see any creators these days talking negatively about the game is because, unfortunately, Overwatch's community has become parasocial with the game. It has changed in the last 5 months, though. There was a while where if you said anything negative about the game, people would basically like call you like everything under the sun. It's actually started to change. Now more people are complaining than ever. Not than ever, sorry. I'd say at least in the last like 2 years, I'm starting to see it more and more common. But yeah, I mean, I remember I'm not gonna name names. I remember I made a tweet about how like things were getting a little out of control with Overwatch like a year ago. About how like for some reason nobody can say anything about the game anymore. And I got like a fuck ton of backlash for it. And I had people from Overwatch that reached out and like, dude, you do not deserve that. Like, I don't know what the fuck is going on. Like, this is like, we're living in a weird, we're living in the Twilight Zone. What's going on? But I think a lot of people have seen that. A lot of creators have seen that. And they've realized that it is not in their best interest to really say anything negative, or at least too harshly negative. And then there's like the Frogger route, which hopefully he doesn't mind me calling him out, because I don't think he does it like in a bad way. I think he does it in a good way. He makes it funny. Like if he like has a problem with the game, he'll try to spin it in a funny way. And I think if you just like kind of like make it like a ha ha he Joker moment, like people will be like, okay, it's whatever. But I don't think like the things that are being said are untrue. You know, it's like, oh man, like XYZ, like, this sucks, but you know, Lucio's kid, you know, and then people are like, it's funny. But like, it's also a way of giving feedback. I think there's a reason why you don't see that anymore. That's realistically it. It has nothing to do with drops. It has nothing to do with being quote unquote paid. Now the question becomes, why shouldn't they give drops to everyone if they're going to give them to 91 people? I think this is because they have to do it individually every single time, and they're very stingy. So what OWCS does is when OWCS turns on, they will turn on the drops manually for all those people. Like they literally go down the list and click on all of them. And then the second OWCS ends, they go down the list and manually turn them all off. I have seen it in real time. Like they have turned it off within 5 minutes of the broadcast ending. That is not a timer. That is someone manually doing it. Manually. They are stingy as fuck with drops. So I think it's just they don't have to go through as many people. Because they can add or remove you from the list at any time for whatever reason they choose. When streaming with exclusive drops, you can see a massive increase in viewers and revenue results, potentially up to 10 times your normal viewership, 100%. And if you run more ads, it can go crazy. Blizzard doesn't necessarily have to directly pay a streamer or explicitly tell them to speak positively about the game, but they control access to something that can significantly increase a creator's revenue. Yeah, but in my opinion, they have never denied somebody or revoked somebody in the past. Like, unless you cross some serious lines, and I don't think it's insane to say, like, there are lines that should be known and shouldn't be that hard to cross. Like, for example, like, if you tweet directly at a dev, like, you suck at your job, you should be fired. Yeah, no shit, you just crossed a fucking line. If you just are like, damn, dude, like, I don't know what the fuck the balance team is doing. Like, these XYZ balance changes are fucking dog shit. The game sucks right now. They don't care. Like, they care, but they care. They'll be like, sorry you feel that way. Like, we would like the game not to feel like that way for you. But they're not going to be like, you know what? You stepped out of line, minus 10 social credits, and then kick you out. Like, that's just not how that works. And the funny part is, I don't even play that much Overwatch anymore. And I used to play Overwatch all the time. And whenever I talked positively about the game, I used to be called the biggest shill. I never got paid for shit. There was never a payment program. There never was. Ever. You get paid for streaming long fucking hours. You know how you get paid by? Twitch. People who show up and they view you. You know, they watch your streams. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, it's actually insane. It's actually insane. It's just sad to see there's some homophobic, transphobic streamers that get OWCS drops. I don't think they should. I don't know. I'm not that close with OWCS stuff, right? I don't know who's in that bubble, if I'm honest. But, like, I feel very strongly about a lot of that stuff. And I think that people who are like that shouldn't be fucking allowed near it. Point blank. But again, though, that's where you start to get into this point where people are like, oh, like they said something you don't like. And it's like, well, yeah, you said something fucking horrendous. Like, fuck you. But that has nothing to do with like criticizing the game. Like, you're just a piece of shit. Like, we had nothing to do with your balance takes. You're just kind of an asshole. Point blank. Anyways, moving on. At any point, Blizzard could take away your exclusive drops access, and your viewership and revenue could plummet as a result. Even if Blizzard never really explicitly threatens to do that, the incentive is still there. I mean, I think I can speak pretty clearly that I have been one of the most outspoken against Blizzard over in the past, and they have never threatened it. If anything, if I ever feel like coming back to stream something or play something, they're always willing to be like, hey, like, you know, like, oh, you want to watch some OWCS? Yeah, we'll figure it out for you. Like, they're always welcoming and open with open arms, because I go both ways. If something is good, I will say it's good. If it's something is dog shit, I will say it's dog shit. And I think most people have figured that out over time. Not everybody, but most people figure that out over time. And there's lines to it. You have to know the lines. Not everyone knows the lines. But again, that's not what the point of this is. The point of this is like everyone's getting paid behind the scenes through drops. And it's like, no, not really. Not really. After not playing the game for a year or two, I came back and immediately noticed the blatant lack of quality, terrible rank systems, and scummy monetization Blizzard has been pushing lately, and I noticed almost no content creators are actively negatively talking about it, because we've done it into the ground. One of the probably most prominent names in Overwatch is History. Actually, it's climbed quite significantly since I looked at it yesterday. One of the most prominent names in Overwatch for years, who's always been around, he just hasn't been playing a whole lot until recently, made a video on All Roads Lead 66, and it's basically him talking about like the recent playtests and where the game should go. It has less than 40,000 views. You know why? Because everyone's talked about it to the fucking moon and back. Everyone's talked to the moon and back about the monetization. Everyone's talked to the moon and back about the skins. Everyone's talked to the moon and back about all these things. Like, they've been so overplayed. We're, what, 4-5 years into Overwatch 2 era at this point. Like, there's just not much to talk about anymore. You know, there ain't much to talk about, like, the real talk. And also, like, again, there's no reason for these creators to say anything about it, because people will view them in a negative light because they're quote unquote just complaining too much, or quote unquote, you know, like, oh, it doesn't affect you, or oh, just don't buy it, blah, 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 blah. And those people are very vindictive. I'm not calling out the content creators for this or saying they're purposely glazing the game for money. The point is that there is not an inherent bias created by the system, whether it's conscious or not. Well, I mean, kind of saying that everyone's on a illegal, undisclosed payroll from Blizzard using exclusive Twitch drops is kind of ensuing that that's the case. But so when listening or reading any content creator's opinion about Overwatch, do some research into whether they have access to these exclusive drops. It doesn't automatically mean their opinion is dishonest, but it does mean that there are many undisclosed financial incentives and conflicts of interest behind it. This is also happening industry-wide and is not just an Overwatch problem. They really have to Fred as a co-streamer. So I was going to say, actually, very interestingly, the reason why all the drop streamers have all the drops that they do is because they play Overwatch and Overwatch only. I'm going to be honest with you. Overwatch players and Overwatch viewers are sort of vindictive, and I love you guys. You guys will know I always play this game, and I always come back to play it. But there's a lot of people in Overwatch that only watch Overwatch content. They only play Overwatch. They don't leave the bubble. There was an old video a long time ago that showed like Twitch's demographic, like where all the games were and what games had overlap. And it was like Valorant and CS are kind of close to each other. You have like Apex, Fortnite. Like, you had all these games that were like, you could see where viewers have gone over time. We were so divorced from the rest of the bubble. Like, we were legitimately in the corner of the graph. Nobody leaves. And if you are a streamer for Overwatch, it is very hard to break out of it, because most people who watch it only want to watch Overwatch. So all of the people at the top of the category for Overwatch are the people who have streamed for many, many years and never left, right? It's why I'm very happy for Emong, because Emong and me streamed for so many years, and when I stopped streaming as much Overwatch, a lot of my drops viewership kind of went and migrated over to him, because we would always host each other and always play with each other. And now if you turn on the start of the season, you see Emong at like 30,000 viewers farming at the start of every season for 12 hours plus. And it's like, he was already getting like 15 to 20, and then you add my like 10K into there, and then boom, like he just dominates every morning. It's fucking huge. But like, that's where they all are. It's the same people. And so it has nothing to do with like, oh, it's this drop system. No, they only want to watch people that have play Overwatch and Overwatch only. And also those people have never left, and they're constantly here, and they're constantly putting in the effort, and they're constantly putting in the work every day. So they're going to get rewarded when drops happen, right? You could take the drops away from them, and they would just go to whoever next has the drops, but they probably wouldn't want to. They'd probably want to stay with the guy they've been watching. And so they'd be really upset, and it would just get Blizzard in a weird spot. Like, why would they take it away from him? He didn't do anything wrong, for example, right? But it has nothing to do with that. And then I'm going to take it one step further. I saw Warren quoted it. It's becoming increasingly obvious to me that you've completely lost the plot. No creators are on payroll, and drops is an industry-wide feature, not limited to Overwatch. Everyone criticizes the game in different ways because it's entirely subjectives. Anyways, Nerf ball. If you don't maintain positive environment when streaming the game, you'll lose exclusive drops and it'll give you more revenue. Not calling you out personally, saying you've changed your opinion for money, but there's obviously going to be some bias there. My question is who? At least name some names. I have exclusive drops and perma bitch about the game, so your argument falls apart and they don't remove me. Every guideline / contract has fail safes and they don't protect their business and doesn't mean they're enforcing it. What I've seen when Blizzard has not done once. I'm going to actually say to Warren, I haven't seen Warren complain on Twitter about Overwatch in years. But that's like the smart play. Don't complain. You can complain on your Twitch stream all you fucking want. Nobody cares. If you claim on Twitter or you make like YouTube videos about it or TikToks about it, it like breaks containment. You know, that's where shit goes like kind of wild. But again, though, like it's kind of funny to see because nobody gets like, there are games that do that though. There are games that do pay you. There are games that do pay you for making content around it and they do like almost undisclosed ads. There are games that do that. I have personally always stayed far away from anything involving that, but I've been offered it over the years. Like for example, like you get a bonus at the end of the month. I know of a game that does this where you get a bonus at the end of the month if you've like made a bunch of videos about a game. And it's like, well, that's an undisclosed ad. Like that's a legal loophole. You don't want to do that, right? But Overwatch has never done that. They've never had a reason to do that ever. So I thought this was kind of funny because there's a lot of people who do believe that like creators are on a payroll. Like I'll tell you where my payroll is. It's a little something I call just to come back around and say, I don't think it's unfair to criticize the drop system. I don't think it's unfair to criticize OWCS. I think there's quite a bit of nepotism in there. It's a who you know system, and it feels a little awkward. And it feels a little weird. And unless you know the ins and outs and you know who to know and you know who the right people, you're going to be on the outside. And I think that's bullshit. And I really don't think it should be that way. And I think that they like prop up a very small group of people and for whatever reasons. And it shouldn't be like that. But that said, though, expanding that to everybody's defending Blizzard is just kind of like again, kind of schizo posting. But regardless, though, it's interesting and it has some weight to it because there's a lot of people who share this opinion. And I wanted to cover it because it just couldn't be any further from the truth. And just because if something becomes a popular opinion doesn't mean it's true. And unfortunately, that's like the TikTokification of our world where the truth isn't always popular, but sometimes the false, like things are not true, are popular just because people believe them. And just because something is believed doesn't mean it's true. So I guess do whatever you want with that info, but it is what it is. So